literally just switched it over to the other mic setting. This is weird, right? Oh, maybe this is on. Oh, I can hear. Okay, now people can hear. Oh, I feel like there's a long latency gap. Okay, I think we're live. I think we did it.
Nice.
The internet can excuse um, the internet can excuse the technical challenges that I have when I'm doing this for the first time. Okay, so we're live. And everybody in the world who's going to tune in now or later, this is Amber Hamell. Say hi, Amber.
Hi.
Hi. And now I'm going to need people to tell me, can you hear Amber and I both okay? And that would be
Hello, hello.
great feedback in the next minute or so when people are going to answer this question. Okay, so Amber is an artist that I've actually gotten to work with in my training club I'm going to talk to the camera over here. Amber's over here. Everybody else on YouTube's over here. Amber's been in the training club for, gosh, how long, Amber?
A year this month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? A whole year? That's a long
Yeah.
time. And I've had the group for like a little less than a year and a half. So you're like an OG. And so if you don't know, the training club is my group coaching opportunity. And I've got a lot of artists that come in. I teach live vocal workouts in the training club, and they're just awesome. I've gotten to meet people like Amber in there, and Amber's been. So what I do in the training club is it's like heavy on the technique side. I'm teaching a lot of vocal workouts that really model. The inspiration for it was training the voice the way that we train the body, and modeling vocal workouts after different modalities of fitness like cardio and strength training and agility work and all of those kinds of things, but make them vocal exercises. So cardio is like endurance and stamina for the voice. So we do a lot of repetitions and exercises to build up stamina for singing on stage, things like that. And so every workout has different themes. And then I've also had the opportunity to get to know people individually, partly through our WhatsApp community, partly through the practice rooms, which is where we're doing live micro sessions in how do I explain this? We're going on Zoom, everybody goes into a breakout room, and then I jump from one room to the next, and we do kind of these micro one-on-one times. And so I've done countless of those with Amber. And today, Amber is going to get a full-length lesson live here for the internet. So thank you, Amber, for being willing to put yourself out there and do that for everybody. And I'm going to check. I want to get over on my YouTube little guy here. Okay, good. You can hear me. Yay. Okay, I can hear you, but it's really quiet. Well, let me move my mic closer to me, and then Vanessa, tell me if that changes anything. And then Amber, tell us a little bit about yourself so people can hear you. Also, I want to make sure people can hear you. And tell us where you live, what kind of artist you are, and what you really want to work on in your voice.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Southern California, but earlier this year I moved to Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I've always written songs kind of sparked by strong emotions, so I can be a bit of an emotional writer. Today I'm going to bring a song that is very emotional for me that I haven't recorded, but it's called Man Song, and I wrote it for someone named John Mann, and I wrote it as he was passing from COPD. And so it's a song for him, and it kind of is written for our elders in our life that are so full of wisdom, and just to make sure we're taking the time to listen to them and listen to their stories and learn from their lessons and keep their memory alive in our hearts.
Love it. I love that. And I've gotten actually the opportunity to hear it a little bit. So I've have a little bit of a head start, but I am excited to get to work on that a little bit. But what I want to do first, and actually before we get into a lot of the coaching stuff, I will tell you, y'all continue to give me feedback on volume stuff, because I'll just keep tweaking it until it gets the very, optimum quality. Including my husband is like running up and down the stairs to like help me fix it. So, real talk, I don't know what I'm doing. So
Is my audio okay as well?
I think I'm trying to figure out if there is a difference between my audio and yours for what everybody else can hear. It's actually not, I can't get you much louder on my computer. And so I don't know if they're hearing that or not.
I have an interface, so I could always turn the gain up if needed.
Yeah, you could probably turn that up a little bit. And then I'm needing a little bit of assistance myself. So y'all just bear with us as we figure this out. But we're doing a giveaway today. So what the giveaway is I will give one person who is meeting these 3 requirements, I will give them a full bundle of all of my digital products worth about $500. So that's Vocal Foundations, which is a digital course. All of these are digital courses, but this one is like an introductory course on how to do all of these techniques that I teach all the time on YouTube, on Instagram, in my one-on-one sessions. Then there's all my warm-up courses, a webinar that I taught called The Top 4 Secrets of Pro Singers, and my vocal therapy course, which is one of my newer ones. And then the newest, good to know. My newest course that is like this far from releasing, that will be included in this bundle, is called the Mixed Voice Masterclass, which is really everybody's favorite topic and thing that they want to learn about the most, is how to sing in your mix, how to sing high with power, connect in the bridges, all that kind of stuff. That's what that masterclass covers. And so I think that's all of the things. That bundle is going to be free for somebody. So if you want to win that, then what you got to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button. That's super easy. Comment on this live stream, and because I'll see those comments. And then and please comment in general, because I want you guys to ask questions as I do this more and we get into a stronger flow of what I'm doing. Then the comments are going to really be helpful for me to answer questions, engage with you guys, and really give you more out of it that you're looking for. And then the third thing is you know what? I'm going to take the third one off, because the third one is that you would have had to have purchased a product from me. And that can be anything. That could have been one of my digital courses that I was talking about, or it could be a lesson or a member of the training club. But because I'm giving away the whole thing, I don't want anybody to have purchased this that purchased anything that I'm going to then end up giving them for free, if that makes sense. So you just have to be here on the live, comment and subscribe. And that's it. To be entered into that giveaway, we will announce that winner tomorrow. And if you haven't signed up for my email list, maybe that's the third one, because that's how I'm going to have to contact you. So if you left a comment and you have the most rando like YouTube name of all time, and I have no way of getting in touch with you, then I can't give you anything. So go sign up on my website for my email list, and then I'll have your contact information. So I need your name to reflect in your comment or in your handle, if that makes sense, so I can actually find you. Okay, now back to Amber. Yes, it is an awesome bundle. Okay, so it looks like I increased the volume for me, but it didn't increase Amber's volume. Okay. Husband, Tanner, can you tell me how to fix that? Amber, did you raise your gain on yours?
I can raise it a little bit more.
Okay.
How's this? Is this a little bit better?
You sound the same to me, but I don't know if that's going to sound the same for the people. Okay, what are some things? Hit me with like 2 to 3 technical things that you would love to be able to work on in your voice that may or may not have to do with the song, but they can.
So I guess it does pertain to this song, because this is a song where vocally I haven't really been able to dial it in the way I like it. And so the chorus isn't like more of like a drivey part of the song. It actually kind of drops down from the verse. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like this soft, gentle, like really sentimental part. And so I always feel like my voice sounds almost too thin or too immature in those parts. Okay. In comparison to how I can get it to sound on the verse. So more maybe just steadying the mix so it sounds like a little more full throughout the whole song.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Have you done any singing yet today?
Yeah, I went through some warm-ups.
Fantastic.
Soprano warm-ups.
Yes. Okay, great. Well, I'm gonna do a few more, and
Yeah.
this will help us to just start to cultivate some more of that in general for your voice. Just the intentionality of ultimately like maturing your tonality and filling it up so that it doesn't feel thin, shallow, or immature to your words. Okay. Um, Still can't really hear Amber. Okay. Hold on. I don't know how to fix that. But for now, I'm going to keep going. My husband's going to come hopefully and fix that. But for now, I'm going to keep going because we're live. Since you've already done some simple warm-ups, I want to start with some chest voice stuff. Hold on. This is sort of ratchet. Okay, chest voice. We're going to start down here. I want you to first hum. So on a 5-tone scale, we're going to go. Nice, consistent hum coming through. I love it. Good. One more. Good. Okay, so now that stopped up there at A flat. That sound up there is where you might hear your own voice if you're a female and your first bridge is at an A, B flat, B, which is what we're on the cusp of. That's where you might feel or hear a change of tone, a little bit of strain start to pull in. And so if I'm going, you hear how the is compromised and it now has this muddier tone in it that's more of a it's a little bit tighter, more thick, mouthy, and not in a way that we actually want. What we want is to be able to slide through into that same area with the same coordination, placement of resonance, and ease of musculature. So one of the things that we like to do here, and I know, Amber, you know what I'm doing here when you press that thumb here behind the chin bone where it's squishy and soft, and then just slide, go, Yes, good. Okay, so go do that again. Yes. And what we're looking for here when we push that thumb into this little spot right here is this area underneath your chin right here is where a muscle called the digastric muscle engages. And this muscle is one of your primary muscles responsible for strain and tension on the voice. So as you get up closer to that first bridge, most singers are going to feel a sense of mounting tension as they go. And it gets harder and harder to the point where unless you change course, you will crack, right? And that's what we're trying to avoid. So when you're pressing your thumb into this, what you're doing is you're basically preemptively disallowing that muscle to engage. And you'll feel it trigger. It'll try to come down. It'll try to fight you. When your thumb's the alpha here. Press in. Don't let that thing pull down. It's okay if it kind of bullies you, but don't let it, right? You stay in charge. And then slide, the easiest way, like you just did, is to slide around on it and not worry about a scale. The scale makes us think too weirdly about things. And then just slide through there. It's okay if it breaks. Put a whiny cry to this and go, one more time, Amber, go, So connected. And as you go, do you feel how it lets go of tension?
Yeah.
And yet stays connected.
I feel maybe like the slightest movement, but it doesn't pull down or anything.
So good. That is one of the best ways to build connection in your voice. So kind of a sidebar, but really important. Now, as we're coming back down, we'll just do a few. Come back to this scale that you just did. And you did it really well before, but I want you to do it again with this in mind. Now we're going to go. Yes, even better than before. A few more. Good. Okay, so I can tell it's warm. We don't really need to spend any more time there, but I want to hear some head voice because you get into both head and chest, a little bit of mix in this song. You get to hear it all in here. So we want to make sure that every part of the voice is activated and nice and warmed up. So right here, I want you to go, wee, 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 wee.
Wee, 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 wee.
Really good.
Wee, 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 wee.
Yeah, just a few more.
Wee, 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 wee. Wee, 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 wee.
Yeah.
Wee, 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 wee.
Beautiful. Okay, now change that scale. We're gonna go wee, 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 wee.
Wee, 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 wee.
Keep going.
Wee, wee. Wait, it's gonna be.
That's okay. Wee, 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 wee.
Wee, 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 wee.
Yeah, it's hard to do this scale a cappella.
Yeah.
It's not as like predictive as like a one octave arpeggio, so it's just a little bit more nuanced. Wee, 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 wee.
Wee, 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 wee.
Yeah, really good. Two more.
Wee, 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 wee.
Well, last one.
Wee, 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 wee.
Really good. Super smooth, connected, nice and released. I love it. It's warm. It's doing what it needs to do. So let's keep going and get more into a mix coordination. So I want you to start. Well, let me ask you. You've done a year's worth of training club workouts. What's like your favorite mix exercise?
Favorite mix exercise? Oh man.
Our favorite way to get loud and obnoxious and high?
Probably a mum.
Me too, probably. Yeah. Okay, I love how standard it is. It's very normalizing. Why do you like that one?
Because I feel like it kind of encompasses everything from all the warm-ups.
Yeah, for sure. It absolutely does. Okay, so free vocalize this first. Always a great way to start. And go, mama, mama.
Mama, mama.
Very good. Now lean a little bit more into an aggressive approach to that and say, mama, mama.
Mama, mama.
Yeah, and naturally, being more aggressive in a sound like this puts a little more cry into the sound, which if we go back to that humming sound that we were doing, go back to the yeah, and make sure too, when you do this, okay, just for this moment, I want you to just swallow the airspace out of your mouth, which is just going to take that tongue and lay it up on the roof of your mouth, seals off the palate so that all of the sound is going into the nasal cavity instead of hanging out in your mouth cavity. The sound difference is or you hear the difference, right? One's got a little bit more of that razzle dazzle. You know what I mean? Okay, so slide on. Yeah, do that again. Yes. Okay, this time go. Mama. Very good. And sometimes that'll help it feel even more secure, a little bit more like there's a healthy grip. There's something that's a bit more biting, and we're less feeling urgent to be careful. Right? Good. Okay, so one more time. Go. Mama. I love it. Okay, so do this on that scale. We're going to go. Mum. So humming up, mumming down. Yeah, it's okay. I don't actually, and I talk about this all the time. I don't care about notes. You're going to hear Amber sing a song in a minute, and you're going to be like, oh, homegirl can sing. She don't have pitch problems. And she doesn't. But sometimes when we're thinking too much about the notes, then we might psych ourselves out and actually, ironically, B flat or sharp. So don't worry about pitch. I don't care about it all that much because a lot of times it fixes itself. So really think more about the sound effect, more of the coordination. And I'll play it one more time. But go test the waters when you do this with the thumb. Yeah. As you go, I want you to go. keep going. Yeah, it's good. I want you to get a little bit more of that bite, a little bit more of that. Do that free vocalized slide again. See how there's more grip on that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's more meat on the bone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so come back to the scale. Kind of like you're mad a little bit. Yeah, now you hear a very subtle glitch in that connection. It's very subtle. Did you hear it?
At the end.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it was at the end. So it's essentially just our head, like thinking about it too much or thinking about the notes, and we tread a little bit more lightly. Sometimes we try to be more careful once the scale is involved, and you'll notice most of the time people are a bit more reckless by nature when they're free vocalizing, when you're just going, because there's no pressure on you to sound good. It's just, you're just making noise. The moment we assign pitch to the sound quality, we start going, oh, okay, well, now I got to have it all together. Now I got to get my act together, right? And we actually think more, funny enough, about notes when we really don't need to, because, truth be told, if you're a halfway decent singer, then you can sing in tune, right? You can sing along with things and sing in tune. That's a low bar for 90% or more of the singers of the world, is just singing in tune. The good news is you can throw that into the back burner of your brain and think about the coordination. Trust that your ear is smart enough to conceptualize a scale or a pitch. I mean, we could do a simpler scale. It really isn't about that. It's about the way we're framing it for our subconscious. And that's what I'm kind of after to turn upside down on its head. So think about that noise and how obnoxious you can lean into the coordination, not how correct we can make it sound aesthetically, right? So back to this and get real, like think about what you're feeling. Mind to muscle connection. So that when you lean in, you kind of dig your heels into this, and you can really feel the things hold together, which, by the way, that was not my best demonstration, but that's fine. When you can go, or feel what happens when you are getting into the inside of that, that's what we then want to put into the scale that we were on, right? So slide, for me. That one was good. That was good. You can get a little bit more squeezy just to allow yourself to build some trust muscles. So get a little bit more whiny in that sound. That was good. That was good. Okay, now, just for a few of these, give me a no. So staccato that M up instead of the legato version of that. Try it right here. Yeah, so the mum coming down, this is feel like a weird switch. I know, that's okay. The mum coming down is legato, so it's a yeah, try that again. Yeah, there you go. And I love this for you, Amber, because you have such a nice lightness to your voice, but you also can lift off maybe too much. And that's where it loses the oomph that you're looking for. So that staccato is going to help it be anchored for it to feel like it's not lifting off too much. Yeah. And you'll notice as it then goes from the staccato to the legato coming back down, that you might feel that discrepancy increase. The gap will widen here. And that's good for our awareness. And so we want to close that gap. So it stays anchored coming down instead of lifting off where it might have previously. So, try that again. Yes, right here. Yeah, stay in it. You got it. One more. That was good. That last one wanted to lift off a little bit around the bridge. You felt it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it wasn't disconnected though. It wasn't a break. It was more of like a dodging something, almost a detour around it where it feels a little unsafe. And so it wants to sort of skirt around it. And this is okay because the sound is teaching and training the voice to stay in it, to not dodge the bridge, but to go through it appropriately. And so if you notice that that might happen for you, like some context your voice will connect and you feel like you're not backing away, but you're also not pushing hard. And then in other contexts, maybe you shy away from it out of fear. Know that the ones that you're in a good way triggered to stay engaged, those are the exercises that you should lean into for a little bit more time so that it trains the thing to stick around. It trains the muscle to not like abandon ship. And that's also where you build the more metaphoric trust muscle, okay? And that one is a really, really important one. It's not one that we feel so much as that we have to believe. And it's just trusting that your voice will connect if you don't manhandle it or shy away from it. But you just go straight through it. So, how do you feel so far?
I feel good. I feel like, the last year has been a lot of learning how to not manhandle my voice, which I've done for decades at this point. So
yeah.
I still feel like there's still that with some of the classical background that I have as well, it kind of leans into me being more careful on certain things.
Right.
And me being more in tune with the scale versus the technique.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And here's the thing, and like I was saying before, you have a good ear. You're not a pitchy singer in general. So when singers, and you'll hear it, who are naturally really intonated, often have the hardest time not thinking about pitch when they're singing songs. Because, that was my experience. I was more classically trained many years ago. And I couldn't sing in a mix. I didn't have a lot of power. I had a decent head voice, but I had a big break. So the thing I felt like I had going for me was that I could sing in tune. And I remember telling a producer when I went to cut some vocals for a project I was working on, I was like, don't auto-tune me. I want to fix all of my pitch issues. And he very kindly rolled his eyes because he was like, great, that sounds fun. And he was, in my defense, surprised at how good I did in singing in tune. He didn't have to pitch correct much. But what I didn't understand is that the emotional component of recording is often more important than the pitch. Because you can fix a pitch, if you need to just a little bit, but you can't create moments, or ways of communicating that are really authentic. That pitch is less important there. And I didn't like that. And I still sort of don't. I want to have my cake and eat it too. But you can. And this is why I say this, is because if you're a singer out there who is like struggling with not thinking about pitch, it's okay to throw it away for the moment because it's not going to leave you. It's a part of you. You're not going to all of a sudden stop hearing notes. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I need to come up with like a metaphor that helps paint this picture more clearly. But if you can hear pitch, you've always been able to hear it, and you didn't have to actually think super consciously about being in tune. There is a conscious level to this to some degree, but we overemphasize it so much that the good news is when you move it away to the back burner of your subconscious, you open up your capacity and your bandwidth to think more about coordination, which is where you're going to think more about the muscle training and the things that you want to fix. That doesn't mean you kill your intonation. It actually enhances it, and I am proof. It was hard for me to do this. I felt a little scared because I was like, what happens if I can't sing in tune? That's all I have going for me. You know what I mean? And I just decided to try. And the good news is it actually made me more in tune because my ear was now tuning more to frequencies of sounds and resonances in a more proficient way. I was thinking more about the high end that comes from pharyngeal or the mids that come from chest. I mean, different things like that that really helped me to think more specifically actually about my coordination, but it impacted my pitch. And so I was more in the center of the note than I was before. Anyway, let's get into your song. Why don't we just start this from the top, and then for anybody who might need a little refresh, who's joining us a little late, what were the two, you had kind of two things, right, that you really wanted to work on in this song?
Yeah, I guess mixing the tone that I can carry in the verse into the chorus, and it's mostly about tone. I described it as sounding immature, sounding maybe weaker
Right.
on the chorus, and the chorus isn't a powerful chorus as you would expect from a typical pop song, but so it kind of pulls back. But I feel like I also lose some of my power in it.
Yeah.
And there are some in the second verse. There is a part where I get powerful. So
Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's sing it. Let's go all the way through.
How can I be there for you? You have been the lightest shoulder to lean in on an anecdote. You, my love, have done what you will do. Take my hand, I will lend an ear for you. I'll listen close to your wisest years, 'cause it's all so clear in the after years. Oh yeah. So enjoy the ride and keep a smile through it all. So that's the first verse and the first chorus.
So pretty. And I love how this chorus does go lighter. However, this is the first chorus. Do you lean into this more in the second?
I go through the chorus twice, and then at the end of the second pass through of the second time, oh my gosh. After the second verse, I sing the chorus twice.
Yeah.
And then it actually, I kind of go, through it all.
Okay.
And then there's a guitar change and then a meter change.
Oh, cool. I don't think I've heard the very end of that. So what do you, by the way, first, I mean, how like captivating is Amber's voice? It's so unique and accurate, which is funny because we were just talking about like pitch accuracy. I told you, you're gonna hear how intonated she is. She can't help but sing directly into the very center of those notes, which is beautiful and I think really works well for this genre, which is kind of a jazzy folk approach, right? Is that maybe how you would describe it?
Yeah, it's definitely more of my folkier songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your voice reminds me sometimes of, oddly, Diana Krall. And maybe it's more of a genre than the tonality, because your tonality is super different. But there's a phrasing style that I hear that she does that, like, where you choose maybe to sing a sustained note without any vibrato at all. And then there's other moments where you effortlessly slip into that vibrato. Certain ways that you shape words or finish a phrase that are really, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like on the nose. But I love that for this stylizing, for this style. So now let me ask you this. What do you want to change about that first verse and chorus?
I feel like the verse is fine. It's mostly to your wisest years. It's all oh, it's wrong key. It's all so clear. Like maybe clear. It sounds more breathy. It kind of gives me reminds me of Billie Eilish on What Was I Made For?
Right. And you don't don't like it?
Not particularly. I feel like I sound really young. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. But you know who uses a ton of breathy texture and always has? Is Mariah Carey. Not that you're needing to sound like her or Billie Eilish or anybody, but I don't know that I would have ever equated Mariah's voice to something that sounded young or immature, right?
I see.
So what I do think, though, that you can do, it may be less the texture itself of the air and maybe more the let me see how I want to describe this, the density of the vowel on the inside of your mouth. So the E vowel of the word clear is a smaller space occupied in your mouth cavity. So it's going to have a little bit more of a thinner quality on the ear, okay? So also clear. What note is that? Okay, it's also an F sharp. So this is not even in your head voice territory, but you're actually putting it in head voice here, which is fine. You can totally do that. But it might mean that it's a little trickier to make that have a robust quality in head voice because it's not really head voice territory. It honestly might be easier to have a richer sound on like a B flat or a C, something that's already in that head voice cavity. Cavity? Register? Whatever. You know what I'm saying, right? Oh. But it's all. Now try this. Just open it up and go, all so clear. So the word clear, I want you to open it up and allow clear, right? This has a diphthong vowel quality, which means the vowel shape changes as you roll through it. And if you indulge the shape change prematurely, you will get a more open vowel sound in your mouth instead of clear, clear. Very Rosemary Clooney.
It's also clear.
Yes, yes.
It's also clear.
Yeah, and you can make it dramatic, like say clear slowly. Yeah, like slow motion.
Clear.
See how the shape changes of that vowel, right? It morphs as you go through it, and you can basically have that arc in the phrasing of the word. And now add the texture back, because we can play with multiple things. You can have it literally clear, right? The word clear is clear, or the word clear is breathy. Either would work doing this. Try both. See what you like.
It's also clear. It's also clear. It's also clear. It's also clear.
And the clear, the breathy one, I don't know if anybody else noticed this. Y'all tell me in the chat. I'm gonna come back to my little chatty thingy where I can see people. Okay, cool. I can see people now. Okay, y'all tell me in the chat what you hear. Did y'all notice that when she sang clear breathy, the shapes was smaller? It went from clear to clear, right? And it's instinctively wanting to go small, partly because it's like our thought is, oh, the note is small when it's smaller with the breathy head voice, so I'm going to physically shrink my space. Try to see if you can. It's like pitch a tent on the inside of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like keep it open as you go through that, but keeping that breathy head voice. It's very specific, but I want you to try it.
Yeah. It's also clear.
Yeah, now slide into it a little bit more nuanced, right? A little bit more gentle.
It's also clear.
Yeah, now add that texture back, a little bit more of that air.
It's also clear. I keep going clean on it.
And your voice is naturally really clean. Go, ee. Which is arguably falsetto, by the way. But try that again now. Clear.
Clear.
Yeah, it's also clear.
It's also clear.
That was it. That was different. Did you hear that?
It's also clear.
Really cool. Now that sounds more mature. Do you agree? It's funny how it's sometimes kind of nuanced, right? It's not necessarily the breathy sound that makes it sound young. It's like the shape of the mouth a lot of times. It's one of the reasons I always have people be more dramatic in their shaping of words in the mouth, because you get more goodness, because your mouth is such a natural resonating cavity that the more I'm going to use my favorite word, leverage your resonating spaces, the more complex your tone becomes, because we hear more of it. If I only open my mouth like 20%, you get very little of my natural vocal tone quality. When I really open my mouth more, yes, I sound dramatic, but you also hear more of my voice. You hear more tonal complexity coming through. And so some of singing and building artistry is a lot, and maturing your tone is a lot of doing that kind of stuff. So now apply that to the next line of the in the after years.
In the after years. In the after years.
Yeah, and you can play with multiple things here. Now the yeah naturally makes it already on the smaller end of the spectrum. Years. You can years, right? Slur it open a little bit.
In the after years.
There it is. Yes. You know, it also reminds me of Aurora, Sleeping Beauty.
Oh.
She was like my favorite Disney. Well, that was probably my favorite Disney movie as a kid. Like the princess movies was Sleeping Beauty. In part, it's actually kind of dark, which is odd, but it's partly, I think, I loved the architecture and the art design from an aesthetic standpoint. It was a very, very different movie. It was just visually different than like Snow White or Cinderella. It looked different. And the Aurora character, she had such a lovely, complex tone. And yes, it was more classical, but she just had more dimension in her tone. It showed some of this off. And I mentioned very briefly a minute ago, Rosemary Clooney. She does this brilliantly too. In White Christmas, when she sings "Love You Didn't Do Right by Me," you know that song?
You've brought that song up to me in a practice.
Have I really? That's funny.
Yeah, probably a few months ago.
How funny. So you remind me a little bit of Rosemary Clooney in that song, and she does this vowel morphing. And I'm not modifying or manipulating, okay? I'm indulging, and there's a difference.
Yeah.
And I won't go into that rabbit hole right now. But when you indulge the vowel, like she sings just the word love. Love, love. And then she puts that little nuanced tail at the end instead of love. It's love. You do this. It's very jazzy. And you do this. And so it's basically like play it up a little bit more. All those things that are kind of instinctive to you, crank that up about 10%. And get a little bit more drama behind that, and that it'll kind of amplify some of these things, lift them up. Yeah. All right, so let's put this chorus together. Let's sing it top to bottom this time, just the chorus, first chorus that we're on still, and see what you can play with what we're talking about. Okay.
It's all so clear in the after years. Oh, so enjoy the ride and keep a smile through it all.
Good. That was so good. The word ride and smile, those are diphthong vowels too, so you can do that the same way. Joy the ride, right? I'd versus I'd, right?
Enjoy the ride.
Yes.
And keep a smile through it all.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. It was so good. Do you hear how different that is?
Mm-hmm.
It's subtle, but it's really impactful and compelling when you put just a little bit of focus on those things. And now I hear contrast in all of your vowels. I don't hear everything sounding the same, and that's the ditch that we'll fall into if the mouth never really opens a whole lot. It stays kind of about the same spot. Like the difference between so enjoy the ride and keep a smile through it all can be pretty, but nobody cares, right? Versus so enjoy the ride. Isn't that cool? That's cool sounding. And that's the power of using your resonators. And it's why you will sound so freaking authentic when you do this, because it's your mouth and nasal cavity. Yeah. Nobody else has the same one. The easiest way to sound authentic is to get to know every micro square centimeter of your resonating spaces and use them. not to manipulate, but to indulge.
Yeah.
I could like go off for a while. I won't. Okay, let's go to the next section.
Okay. So it kind of ramps up a little bit, a little more energy in the verse.
Cool.
I wish I could win this war for you. You are pure. The Lord will see you through to glory. Peace and love.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop you because I love it, and I want you to do that like on a higher dramatic level. Because it's like it wants to break free and bust out. Do you ever feel, Amber, that when you're singing, it's like you can enjoy what you're doing, you enjoy the experience of it, but are you ever feeling like you are full throttle in the joy zone, or like always on the cusp, or sometimes can't get all the way there?
It depends on the day, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like you really let loose the most?
When I'm not playing guitar.
Ah. Yeah, that's challenging. I mean, you're not alone in a lot of that. I think most singers consider their voice their primary instrument, and so when they add a guitar or piano, which by the way I encourage people to do, I think that's very important for overall musicality and musicianship and many other things. It can still feel sometimes like you're not able to put the same focus on the voice when you're playing an instrument at the same time. Not everybody is like that, but a huge percentage of singers are. Okay, so what if you put the guitar down, or just, you don't have to put it down, you can hold it, I don't care, but just don't play it, and sing that same section up through joy, glory, peace, and love, and really take everything go to the extra mile with each moment of those lyrics.
Okay. I wish I could win this war for you. You are pure. The Lord will see you through to glory. Peace and love.
Nice. So there was a lot more richness that was coming out of your voice there. Now I want you to think about being kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, right now I'm getting the word swoopy, okay? Like the word glory. What is the melody of glory?
To glory.
To glory. Okay, so what if you have more of a to glory? Like make that a little bit more dramatic in that motion.
To glory.
Yeah, but more like the drag up, okay? To glory. And we're, for the record, taking some things out of context on purpose, so it's okay if this is not the final version of it, okay? But just to paint a picture. To glory. Like that.
To glory.
Yeah, you see how that had a little bit more, I don't know, it was more intensified?
Yeah, there's a little more texture to it.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yes, it did, because it had this arc of crescendo, decrescendo in it, as if it was its own singular phrase. Something I tell people a lot that I learned from like a choir teacher in, I don't know, middle school, high school, where she basically was talking to us about dynamics in songs and how you've got the crescendo and the decrescendo, and you really need to play those up, really follow those to the nth degree until somebody tells you, okay, too much, tone it down, right? Most of the time we don't go far enough. But if you were to think of this in a macro level, like a story, a play, a book, a fiction, a movie, whatever, where the storyline has the rising action, the climax, and the falling action at the end of the story, and it follows this crescendo, decrescendo kind of pattern, where you kind of, everything gets more and more, it's building up into the pinnacle of the story, and then something happens, and then now the falling action was quick. It's like towards the very end of the story. What if our songs did something very similar? They follow this rising action, the climax, and then the falling action, and then even more micro, zoom in, and treat your verse that way. That the verse has its own version of that story arc, and then zoom in again. That now each individual phrase has that story arc. And then sometimes like a phrase like this is to glory, it's 2 words. It's really focusing on the word glory. Glory has its own story arc, right? To glory. The idea, the ultimate objective being, if you were to extract one phrase of your song and take it completely out of context, but you applied these rules of engagement to them with this story arc concept, would I, as the audience, get the full scope of the picture of the story from one phrase by the way you deliver it with dynamics? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and most of the time, phrases especially in classical music, follow this crescendo decrescendo pattern. This is not the hill to die on. Is it always crescendo and always decrescendos? No, it's not. Some phrases end up, right? Some phrases progressively only decrescendo. So don't hear what I'm not saying. I am saying, though, what if you can paint the most dramatic story in the 3-second story arc of the word glory?
Yeah.
Right? It's just really powerful to think of that. And then how do you play that into the word peace and love, right? And then the whole phrase. So you're zooming in to then zoom out.
Yeah.
All right, so come back to, let's start the top of the verse. I wish I could win the war for you.
I wish I could win this war for you. You are pure. The Lord will see you through to glory, peace, and love.
Yeah, that was cool. Did you like that?
Yeah.
That was pretty. And it was more interesting too, you know? Those are the things that make a song more compelling, is where you hear all the different contrasts of tone. It's not just all loud on a loud chorus, all soft on the soft chorus, but there's always a little blend of those things when we use dynamics really well. Okay, sing me your second half, because we have not gotten to that yet. You, my dear, starting right there.
You, my dear, made your mark on earth, and that's not all. Love is eternal forevermore. I got lost.
Well, I wouldn't have known. You had me. I was captivated.
Not all. Love is eternal forevermore. We will meet again.
All right, so aside from kind of trying to remember your place coming into that very, very last
It's hard to sing it
phrase.
without playing now, because I usually am playing the guitar when I'm singing.
Yeah, and you can put that back in there for the last line. Put the guitar back in.
You, my dear, made your mark on earth, and that's not all. Love is eternal forevermore. We will meet again.
Cool. What was interesting is certain other things came in more, like the nuances of the phrase came in more with the guitar, but then the arc was a little bit more tempered with the guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think part of that is the nature of kind of the way you're hand muting on the strum pattern, and your voice is following some of that percussive quality. But yes, because it could be, here's an idea as you're practicing, is when you get to forevermore, since that might have a swell and so we'll meet again, it has a bit more fullness to it. You could open up your strumming pattern there, as your voice might be more likely to follow that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if you're just playing around with that, it doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have to be forevermore.
Yeah.
But forevermore is the same spot as glory in the first half of the verse. So glory forevermore. It's the same opportunity to have that little arc to come back in. So try that.
Forevermore.
Yes, yes. We will. How does the "we will meet again" go?
We will meet again.
We will meet again. Okay. We will meet again. Even something as simple as indulging consonants more helps make that little part of that phrase stick out in a better way so that it doesn't seem like gap filler words, but hey, I mean to say this. I put this lyric in here on purpose. You know what I'm saying? That lyric melodically is not the same melody, correct me if I'm wrong, as Peace and Love.
The melody does shift. It does shift a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So since it's a little different, I don't have that melody stamped in my head of expectation the way I do for the word forevermore. I'm expecting that there because glory. And by the way, what you're doing here when you add drama to this is you're creating melodic motifs. This is incredibly important in songwriting to help the listener feel like they can sing along straight out of the gate from the very beginning of the song and opening chorus. And this is even a verse, right? But you're still creating motifs. It's how you can get the song stuck in your head without ever having to listen to it on repeat. So when you have the natural motif of da da da, then maybe, who knows? But whatever, we're going to pretend like that is. Since it doesn't, we want, and that's okay, not every line or whatever has to, dig your heels into the consonants. We will meet again, or whatever you feel like needs to come alive for you to make me feel, oh, I'm going to meet that person again in heaven one day.
Yeah.
Right?
We will meet again. We will meet again.
Yeah, but less classical on the word again, less pretty. And it's okay if you don't like it at first, but try to dirty it up a little bit.
We will meet again.
Say, we will meet again.
We will meet again.
Yeah, and when you're saying this line, if you were to speak this out loud to yourself, whatever, forevermore, we will meet again. We will meet again. We will meet again. We will meet again. All those different emphases, whatever, that you could choose for the lyric, which one strikes you personally as like, this is the most important word of the phrase? We will meet or again. Play with it.
We will meet again. We will meet again.
And say it this time. Just go, we will meet again.
We will meet again.
We will meet again. Yeah. Keep going.
We will meet again. We will meet again. We will meet again.
What do you think?
We will meet again.
So which word stood out the most to you?
I feel like will is more of like a promise. I feel like will is we will meet again. It's
Well, I love that. And that might mean that the melody might adapt to that. So instead of we will, maybe you don't want the most important word being on the lower pitch of the phrase. What if it was we will meet again or something else? I mean, you can massage this, right? You wrote the song, so you have the ability to change it. And I think you said you haven't recorded it, right?
It's not recorded yet.
So nothing is sacred quite yet. So you can play with that and don't ever feel like you've got to stick to one thing or marry one choice. Make sure that as you're playing with every phrase in a song that it feels really authentic to how you want to communicate it. And if it doesn't yet, question everything. Question your dynamics, the shape of the vowels, the emphasis of the words, the notes even that you're choosing. And sometimes it's the actual words themselves. So let everything kind of be on the table still. Yeah. Because I think that you can find that. Definitely. I feel like I might have frozen. Does something look frozen?
It is froze.
Why am I frozen? Am I frozen on the YouTubes? Yep. Looks like I am. I don't know why. Anybody out there listening want to tell me why I'm frozen?
We did have a timer going down on our call, and now that it's at 0, it's when it froze on you.
Why would I have a timer on my Zoom call?
It was counting down on the Zoom call.
Fascinating, because I don't ever have that limitation on my Zoom account. Well, whatever. People are gonna just hear me and not see me moving. Okay. Well, so tell me. I'm gonna ask my producer husband to tell me how to fix that. But while I'm doing that, can you sing me the last chorus? Because this is where you're singing louder, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all so clear in the after years. Oh yeah. So enjoy the ride and keep a smile through it all. So I just skipped right to the last run through of it.
Yeah.
For you.
And so through it all is kind of the part where we're trying to maximize your voice here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So sing that on a mum. Just mum, mum, mum.
Mom, mom, mom.
All right. Interesting. So the very first mom was a little bit here, and then you moved it forward, mom. Keep it right there in the center and from the starting mum. So
Okay.
ma, ma, ma. More like that first.
Ma, ma, ma.
Ma, ma, ma.
Ma, 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 ma.
Ma, ma, ma.
Ma, ma, ma.
Through it all.
Through it all.
Yeah, and on the word all, I want you to think a little bit more of an shape underneath the vowel. So instead of all, it's more of an all.
Through it all.
That was closer. Yeah. Okay, now smooth that out a little bit. Through it all with a little bit of the inside.
Through it all.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you hear? Sorry, I was swallowing water. Did you hear how that had more depth to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it feel okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome. I'm sorry I'm frozen. I asked my husband, I was like, why am I frozen? He said, don't know. Just wrap it up. I don't know. You've already been going for an hour. Just be done.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So tell me, in a nutshell, Amber, what do you feel like was the most helpful thing for you in this?
The most helpful thing was when you were explaining more of the shape of my mouth on the chorus. How I kind of hold my mouth tight on certain words versus actually opening my mouth and allowing my resonance to shine through my mouth.
Yes. It's such this like easy tool that we can use that we forget. Sometimes it's just that we overcomplicate stuff, right?
Yeah,
Totally.
totally.
I love it. And thank you for being willing to be here for everybody to see and be on the internet.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to watch and experience alongside of this. And I want to just highlight a couple things that people have made comments on. Adina says, as a consumer, I like the stylistic choices you made in the song. This is when I asked the question about hearing that. I think we were talking about the glory phrase, I want to say.
Okay.
It's like a pulling back. Better, you sound great. The E seems to get drawn out with the not breathy. Oh, that was when we were doing the... Clear. Yes, totally. Really like that last one. And I know which one she's talking about because I like that one too. Karen asked, do I have a course on vowel shapes? I don't actually have a course on vowel shapes. I mean, I talk about them a lot in coaching, but I don't have a course on that. Maybe I should make one. Love how singing, emphasizing different vowels in the diphthongs sounds. It's so true. It's such a fun thing to play with, you know? Scion says, so jazzy and awesome. So good. Emphasizes the glory. Make it glorious. Beautiful vibrato. Yes, you have froze. Now we're getting down to the end. Good stuff. Love the mums. Getting into the vowel consonant sounds awesome. I love it. Guys, thanks for being here and joining us. And again, just to say one last time, if you missed me saying this earlier, If you want to win, the giveaway is a bundle of all my digital courses for free. It's about a $500 value. I think there's like 5 or 6 courses inside of that, including my yet to be released mixed voice masterclass. And you'd probably be the first one to get it. You have to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and what is the other thing? What did I say?
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Oh, and there was one thing that we did discover before, is that it's actually, subscribing to the YouTube channel is not as easy as me seeing as it is like on Instagram, following me on Instagram or something, because you have to have your YouTube set to be, I don't know, somehow seen by others, and not everybody does. So there's settings that you can be like, you can't see if I follow you or not, or subscribe or something like that. So maybe I need to adapt this, or maybe we're just going to use the honor system. So maybe just tell me in the chat if you subscribed. But anyway, I'm going to get better at all of those kinds of things as we go. But again, sorry I'm frozen for the last few minutes of this, and thanks so much for joining, Amber. And
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Alrighty, I'm going to figure out how to make this thing end now.